hide and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Quentin Wilson, one of the original Rocket Boys as portrayed in October Sky. I'm here at Argonia, Kansas for LDRS 18, and I know you'll enjoy this high-powered show.
Nice bunch of patriots you got here. Tell us a little bit about it. Where you from? First your name and where you from?
Paul Nosselman. We're from Dallas, Texas.
And who's your partner over here?
Ted Thomas. I'm also from Dallas.
And you guys are partners in this project then?
Partners in crime, that's right.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about what's going on with these rockets, the size. You got 3 different sizes here, and
right.
Tell us what they're flying on and what they're made of. Tell a little bit behind the scenes here.
Well, actually, it was last summer here at Airfest. We had the half-scale Patriot here and flew those off, and Ted here was here with me. Got the fever, saw some big rocks, thought we wanted to do a big project. So we decided on a 3/4 scale Patriot, and then we just have 3 different sizes: 1/4 scale, half scale, and 3/4 scale.
Yeah, and they really got a nice paint too.
Yeah, we spent way too much money on the paint job.
Yeah, well, you know that rocket has a real nice paint scheme to start with, and that's what really makes it nice. And then when you spend the money on the paint, it just makes that that much nicer.
You bet.
Tell us a little bit about the electronics, the deployment, and what you're doing there.
Well, we could actually show you electronics bay real quick if you want to take a look at it. Maybe Ted can grab it. We've got an electronics bay that holds an Adept RS2 50K that I've used for about 5 years, good reliable one. And then we got Olson's new FCP M2 altimeter. So we're going to use those 2 altimeters as kind of primary and secondary.
Boy, you did a really nice job on the bay itself. Did you make the electronics then, or both you do that? Or?
Yep. Yeah. So it's got a package in, it's all wired in here with nice DIN connectors and nice charges here for blowing off the nose cone and the main chute out of the chute tube. And it all goes together. Really nice.
Together like that. And then this plugs in to the unit so that all the wiring can be done in one piece, and then all the charges go in between the booster and the chute tube to blow up, to deploy the nose cone and to deploy the main.
Well, that's really a nice job, the way that's set up. That's one of the most beautiful pieces I've seen so far when it comes to electronics bay.
Yeah, it really helps us to be able to prep it apart from the rocket.
It's modular, just a modular piece, you know?
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Nice job.
Yeah, and then it goes inside the rocket, and you see these screws right here. It goes inside the rocket, and then it's all screwed down. It's a nice tight fit inside there. And then, of course, we got the nice Rocketman chutes. Thanks, Ky.
What size chutes are you using?
We got the R18 here for the main. And then we got an R4 here for the drogue. And these 2 chutes are going to go here on the booster section. And then we got an R12, I believe, here for the payload.
What's the overall weight of this rocket then?
Loaded, it's going to be 104 pounds.
104 pounds. That's a lot of weight.
With the M1939.
A lot of weight. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll be watching this for this flight, and you did just an absolute beautiful job, that's for sure.
Thanks for the shoots.
Oh, you're welcome. Hey, the teamwork, it's fun to do it together with a buddy, that's for sure.
That's
Thanks,
for sure.
Beautiful Phoenix you've got here. Give us your name and where you're from.
I'm Sean Ashbaugh. I'm from Edwardsburg, Michigan. It's a It's a Dynacom Phoenix, and it's got an M1419 in it.
And what is the weight on it?
It's 33 pounds.
33 pounds. Got a nice little carriage wagon here to haul it around too. That makes sense to me.
It does. It does. It's too heavy to carry around.
And how long did it take to build it?
It didn't take a couple of weeks, and then Kevin's Body Shop in Edwardsburg, where I live, he does these nice paint jobs for me.
Oh, beautiful paint job. I'm seeing more and more of that now, where they really take time in doing the paint, and it's really important. Makes it really nice. Special piece. Tell us about the electronics.
It's got the Cambridge accelerometer in it. Set for apogee deployment. It's only a single parachute. It's one of your R12s, and it's supposed to go about 15,000 feet high.
Beautiful job. We'll watch for the flight, Sean.
All right. Thanks, Ky.
Thanks. Take care. We have Chuck Saka here from Starship Enterprise, and I see you have a lot of really innovative kits, you know, different from anything I've seen around here. Tell us a little bit about your philosophy and what you're trying to accomplish here at Chuck.
Well, basically, we have kits here for people who like to build models. A lot of designs, you know, real creative stuff, some retro designs, things that kind of push the envelope for things you want to fly. If you like to build models, we got what you want. If you got some modeling skills, we even have something for you people out there who do that. We have our Galactic Marauder, which is a futuristic pirate ship that you can actually build the nose cone that have the gun emplacement if you got plastic skills for that. We also have our 3 shovel-nose rockets, which are our Shaman, our Roanoke, and our California. 2 of which feature rear ejection, but the 3rd one, just a nice looking model to look at, fly, off the wall. Our prize flagship is our Centaurus Kit, which we have the big upscale behind me, and it was basically based off of Gary Anderson's Thunderbird 3 from the Thunderbird series. Very stable, very rigid rocket. It's a lot of internal framework to it. I managed to drop mine in my garage, do no damage to it whatsoever, but it's definitely an advanced modeler's building special. And that's what I'm looking for, something that actually challenges the mind and the hands, and getting away from like certain small rocket company in Colorado is doing now that's turning out stuff that's all ready to fly. The society's getting away from hands-on experience.
It's all really futuristic, you know, something that we're all, well, if we're still around, we're going to be seeing down the road, and it's futuristic, and, you know, and we're really getting into that, you know, the society, we're getting into futuristic stuff, and I think you're on the right track here, that's for sure.
Right. Well, Mike Ward is my partner. We got into selling, we love building sci-fi kits too, Star Trek, Star Wars, that type stuff. So we sell that type stuff on one side of our business, but we come out here for the rocket stuff because this is our second love. And from the things we've done in the past, I think if anyone questions that, well, too bad.
There's no question at all. You're doing a great job, and I'm really glad to see you back on the high-power rocket scene again.
It's something I really like doing. I took some time off for some personal things, and it really didn't pan out. And I figured out, you know, do what makes you happy, and this is what makes me happy. And if it includes roasting in the Kansas sun, that's just fine. And as long as people like what they see and take our kits and have fun building them, we're okay. And I got no problem with that. And we got some really radical concepts coming up in the future. Maybe push the envelope a little bit further.
Well, everything I've seen so far is pretty radical. Keep up the good work.
We try. We aim to please.
And we're going to launch Miss Riley. We're very proud of you to do this. She's launching off pad 44. And we're going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Nice boost. I don't know if that was as impressive as 40 years ago. We have ejection. All right, got a full deployment. All right, Quentin. Welcome officially to high power.
Quentin.
Thank you, thank you.
And we got full recovery on it too, huh?
Yes, sir. Something coming down right here.
Yeah, right here. Heads up.
Look out!
Heads up.
That happens now and then. That's what gets things going. Anyways, it was good to see that rocket fly, that's for sure, huh?
Yeah, it did a good job. It's a good rocket.
Fun stuff.
We're gonna run and get it now.
That's not the fun part.
John Ashbaugh from Edwardsburg, Michigan. It's a Phoenix weighing 33 pounds. It's a Dynacom kit. This one is flying on an M1419, folks. It's got an altimeter for deployment. The flight card says, heads up, this will be another very high performance flight, folks. This should be exciting. Okay, sky and range are clear. We're going on 5, pad 67. We're going on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. That one had snap, crackle, and pop. Way up there, arcing over.
Great flight.
Thanks.
Boy, that was nice. That motor's crackling like
Yep.
crazy.
I'm glad to see I got a parachute on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, we got two Rocketman shoots up there right now,
Excellent.
side by side, coming down. Well, right here we have a young lady, Candy, who not only likes school, she likes rockets. In fact, she graduated from school this year, huh?
Yeah.
And I see, and that's probably why we call the rocket the Graduator. That's a great name.
Yeah, it is.
And what's it flying on?
On a G54.
G54. We have Professor Bruce back there getting your lid
Yeah,
on.
he's my professor.
Well, oh, nice
Oh,
paint
yeah.
job, nice graphics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do a good job on all your rockets. We'll watch for this flight. Good luck.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
That was a very long 2 seconds. 63. It's Paul Noseman from Mesquite, near Dallas, Texas. This is his level 3 cert flight. It's a 3/4 scale Patriot. It weighs 104 pounds loaded. It's flying on an M1939. It's scratch built, looks like, out of PML components. It's got, let's see, it's got a depth RAS2 and an Olsen. FCPN2, it's got a drogue. What does it say here? Okay, yeah, it looks like it's got to have a drogue chute and a main chute on the booster section, and a main chute on the payload section. This should be a very impressive flight on a full M motor, folks. This is flying off Jim Stanley from New Jersey. His heavy-duty 800-pound rail system. This baby is going to get perfect guidance for the first 16 feet of its flight. So we are flying out of the away cell, going on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. That is the sound of power of that M1939 motor. And it's arcing over. And we got a deployment.
We have Tracy Dugan from Oklahoma, and here he's with this V2. In fact, it's a very large V2. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's an all-composite, large model rocket, basically. We built this as a kind of to prove that big rockets didn't have to weigh, 500 pounds to fly, and it kind of, the tip tank that we used to mold it off of kind of looked like a V2. It's not by any means the scale V2. Anybody that knows the rocket knows that, but we thought it was close enough where we could make it look similar. It's flown once. It flew at one of our launches on M and 4 Ks, and it did okay. It took a little bit of damage, which we had to repair, and while we were doing that, we decided to go in and add some cameras and more electronics and change a few things. So we have it back out.
What motors are we flying out today?
It's got an N2000 with 2 K700s, 2 K1100s. They'll be air started. The end motor was donated by Ross.MagnumRockets.com, and appreciate that. It should fly good. We had a problem just a moment ago. We blew our ejection charges because at some point we got water inside the rocket. When we tipped it, it shorted one of the timer circuits, closed it, and if we built it where when one charge went, they all went, we popped the nose off when we were raising it. So right now we're going back in. We had four redundant systems for ejection. Right now we're just going to use 2 altimeter deployment and get rid of the timers because of that problem. So we should be back ready to raise it again here pretty soon. The wind really isn't cooperating for us, but you know, what can you do? It's Kansas.
Oh, but at least the weather's nice and cool today. What was the final weight on the rocket then?
It's only 105 pounds dry weight.
Oh, really?
Once you load the cameras and the motors in it, it comes in about 170.
That's quite an accomplishment to have a rocket of this size.
It screams for a bigger motor, but you know, we'd like to put something bigger in it. Somebody wants to give us a motor, but we might fly it again.
Well, you guys did a heck of a job. It's a beautiful rocket, that's for sure, and good luck when we watch it for the flight.
Thanks.
Okay, time to rack it, stack it, jack it, and track it. This is Tripoli, Oklahoma's the V2. Third scale, about 165 pounds, powered by 1 N2000, 2 K1100s, 2 K700s, total of 23,000 Newton seconds of ground pounding power. Ready to rock and roll. Giving it a 10 count. Everybody, eyes up. Out from underneath the tents. Be ready to move just in case. In the concept of breaching wheel rocketry in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
Electronics guys, you did a great job under pressure.
Oh. Now let's go get it.
That's perfect.
You guys aren't excited, are you?
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Good job.
We knew it was going to happen. All right.
Well, Mike, I think I've seen this project before somewhere. Looks familiar.
Yes, we had this out last year. It's a copy of your Rocketman civilian space transport. And this year, since we don't have the upper stage complete, we've been spending time on the Mercury Redstone. What we're going to do this time is just do the lower stage with 5 nitrous motors. We've got either J260s, which are the effects motors that are made by Aerotech, and we also have 2 390s, which have a little bit more fuel in them, so we'll have 3 different types of motors. Also going along with the M motor, which I don't have the other piece of yet, but we'll have an M hybrid.
Ah.
So everything in here is going to be hybrids. We'll have 5 hybrids.
Yeah, 5 of them in here.
Correct.
This thing ought to boost pretty darn good, I'll tell you that. What we got for electronics and the rest of the equipment in here?
The electronics, we've got an altimeter, an RAS-2 altimeter for 50K. That'll be our primary ejection at apogee, and then we've got a timer set for a little bit past that, just in case the altimeter fails. We definitely want to make sure it comes down safely. If it tears something up, we can always fix it.
And what is the weight of the rocket, you know?
The weight of the rocket, 75 pounds, I believe.
Okay. And expected altitude?
I don't recall.
Okay, well,
Bruce knows
sounds
that.
good to me. Just keep shoving them motors in.
Yeah, that other one. 3322. Great.
Yes.
The way these things work, this is an Aerotech Setup. The way this works is there's a pyro valve in here. What I've done when I screwed the bottle in is I've actually lifted the pin valve inside this bottle. There's a piece of black powder that's screwed down that's got a hole through the center of the screw, and that's holding the nitrous back with a little Teflon washer. As soon as we light this thing, the piece right in here, which is called the preheater, is going to set off basically a fire. The nitrous is going to accelerate it, and then all the propellant in here is also going to go. And what we've done is taken an M motor and almost doubled what this motor would do without this nitrous bottle. We're almost doubling it here.
Similar to what you can do in a car then.
Correct. The difference you see is when you watch regular motors like the last one you saw, you see a lot of flame and stuff. It looks pretty cool. Well, that's propellant that's burning outside. Okay, when the propellant burns inside, you get pressure, and when you get pressure, you get lift. So it's wasted propellant coming out, and this helps burn more of it in. So this won't have as much flame. It'll have a lot of flame, but it won't have as much flame as what you've just seen or for any of the end motors that you've seen so far. These other ones that we just put in, when we fly those, you can barely see anything except for a nice blue flame coming out of the bottom of these things. So basically, it burns very, very clean. You don't have the big smoke cloud if we were lighting just these four alone.
Do you do much with the shapes of the nozzles or anything to try to improve anything?
No, these are pre-manufactured by Aerotech. Everything we have in here is Aerotech systems, and they've already designed the nozzles and have done all the math and the science to do that. Try turning. Turn the motor and let me push. This is the fun part when we get down to the screws. Okay, do we want to put this bolt in the bottom? Where? Down here. There's supposed to be a bolt. No, there is. We drilled a hole.
Well, guys, here we go again with the Civilian Space Exploration Team project. We all know what happened last year, LDRS out there at Wendover, and well, we took the two-stage off, and hopefully today we're going to have a lot better flight and full recovery. What do you think?
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
We've got 5 hybrid motors going, all Aerotechs. We've got an M hybrid and 4 J hybrids. This thing should haul butt.
According to Rogers Aeroscience, it said, warning, dangerous ISP, 460. 900 pounds of thrust to start, so it's going to fly off the rod.
Well, the main reason why we're flying, well, there's a couple of reasons, but the main reason we're flying is it's the first time we've ever flown off this rail here. And tomorrow we're planning on flying the Redstone off, so this is going to be a checkout run for the rail. And hopefully everything will go well now, and tomorrow we're looking forward to that big Redstone flight.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Ryan Grobel, Tony Cocker, Ky Michaelson. Beautiful launch.
Oh, look at that. That's awesome. Yep. Incredible.
Looking good.
Just another end motor, Ky.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Ray Helm from Tripoli, Western New York, Buffalo Rocket Society. And today we're flying a half-scale Ares sounding rocket on 4 M1939s, just a little over 40,000 Newton seconds. It's a project that's come together by a bunch of people. Good friend Andy Schechter, Jim Sekel, Doug Caskey, Team Aerotech, Rocketman, recovery systems. And we're going to go with 3 R18 chutes on the main body, and then we're going with 3 R14s on the nose cone. The nose cone was built by a good friend, Jim Sekel. Deployment bag was built by Doug Caskey from Buffalo Rocket Society, and should be an interesting flight, to say the least. It's definitely by far the biggest project we've ever done.
Yeah, what car are you going to go behind? I mean, I'm hiding behind you. What are you talking about, Quinn? Okay. Shoots, come on, shoots.
Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, man!
Hit it, buddy.
That was great. Ray. Oh, Ed! Ed! Isn't that great?
Good going, Ray.
All right, Andy.
Man, Andy, congratulations, guys.
Was that a flame?
Oh, man.
Oh, man! Oh, man!
Look at
Let's see
that.
if we can. Will it stand up? Is it going to stand up? I doubt it.
That'd be great.
I'm asking for too much if it stands up. Yeah, it's gonna stand up. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. Hey, if anybody has any photographs, I'd love to get guys. I'll send you down.
There it is.
Great job. Does this remind you of the good old days of Rocket Boys, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff. John, tell us a little bit about this rocket. It's sure unique looking.
Yeah, it's a flying tetrahedron, and it's flying on an M1419.
And what is the weight on it?
I think it's going to come in about 40 pounds.
And you've flown a couple of smaller ones than this before, right?
Yes, I've flown like an I-211 version, a J-275 version, and on Thursday I flew the L1000 version.
Well, good luck. We're sure going to watch for this flight. It's a very unique looking rocket, that's for sure.
Thank you, Ky.
Yeah, when you're ready to go on that, just give me the money and I'll get it for registration. Thank you. Happy to help.
Kansas, fellow cloudbuster. Yes, Talon 3. Fellow Scott Glass is the manufacturer on a J570. This should be pretty cool. And it's going to go in 5. You ready, Ken? Everybody ready? There, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Sorry. Did he set the grass on fire? Arcing over. Boy, better take one of them ATV things. Mike Clayton from Houston, Texas, has a scratch-built Nebula 98 on an H97. The Smoky Blackjack is going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. I love that little motor. Best 29mm motor there is, I think. Arcing over now. Looks like we got a chute up there. All right, good flight, Mike. Okay, things are moving right along. We're here on pad number 48 now. We have Mike Thum. I think that is Mike Thum. Crest Hill, Illinois. Welcome. We have a NC SA-14 Archer on an H-180. It's a pretty nice looking rocket, and it's going to get a lot of fin, and it's going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Nice flight, straight as an arrow. Whoa, early ejection. Looks like got a shredder chute. Nobody out there right now. Well, you don't have to walk too far, Mike. Mike Manning from Rogers, Arkansas. He has a PML Giant Leap on an H-128. And it's going to go real high, real fast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Love that sound. Arcing over. I think that's the one I'm on. Eric and Steve Bloom from Everett, Washington. He's got a lock mini mag on a J350. Okay, we're gonna go in 5, 4. Keep your eyes on the rocket. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Whoa, early ejection. She stayed together, but I bet she got a zipper. Okay, we got Scott His from New Hope, Pennsylvania. He's got on a J800. And this rocket is going to go real fast off the pad. Pad number 44. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. We just rocked the Kansas landscape. Scott McAtee, fellow Topeka. He's got the stretch-built trainer on an I-161. Okay, he's going to walk for a while too. Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Nice flight. Still going straight up. Arcing over. And ejection just before apogee. Randy Bray, Marshalltown, Iowa, has a Binder XL Plus 3-pound rocket flying on an H-123. And we're going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Pretty nice. A little low flight. Straight up. Nice, right before ejection. Boy, I tell you what, we're getting a lot of pre-apogee ejections. The rockets really seem to be coasting well today. Something you might want to keep in mind. Okay, moving on over to pad 48. Aaron Getke from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He's got a lock Stardust on an H-73J, slow burning smoky. Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Jump, 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 jump. Well, that's somebody gets some fire retardant over there. Okay, looks like we're gonna be okay. Okay, gonna grab arm the 50s. Well, that's taking place. Moving over to pad number 34. Or 34? 34. This is a heads-up flight. Mike Hasme from Plymouth, Minnesota. A Soviet SA-2 guideline missile stretch built on a J415. This one has got a lot of fin and a lot of it's forward on the rocket. So anyway, we're hoping that it goes straight up, but we want to keep your eyeball on it. I want everybody heads up. And actually, I guess I'd kind of like you on your feet and looking at this rocket out on pad number 34 on a J415, and it's going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. No launch. Never mind. Sometimes I'm an idiot. You have to have the things that's actually got the electronics in it. Okay. Once again, Mike Hasme USA missile going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Smoke. Heads up in 5. Going to J415. It's out there on pad number 58. Okay. She's got a J415, nothing special in it. Came back from Canada to cert level 2. And that B2 is going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Right into that Kansas man. And we're gonna go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. What a beautiful flight. Looks like we're still going up. Argonia, we gotta shoot on the first part and shoot on the second. The Yobi TF 14-inch Fat Boy. Now that's going up on an M14 1939 actually. 5X upscale Fat Boy, Andy Schechter out of Rochester, New York. We won't keep Andy waiting any longer, and we'll go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful boost. Turn it over. Hold on, buddy. Come on. Arcing over. Come on, altimeter. There we go. So here we go with Daryl Mobley's rocket. Daryl's from Atlanta, Georgia. His Scorpion weighs 24 pounds. Dynacom kit. Okay, Bruce Lee, we're told that you have attention on this flight. We're going on this level 3 certification flight on the M1315. Sky and range are clear. Going on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. That is high performance, folks. 3-inch M motor. Scott Giz from New Hope, Pennsylvania, has got a rocket he calls Tricky Wicky. Weighs 12 pounds, flying on a K550. It's got altimeter for dual deployment. Sky and range are clear. Going on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Another beautiful boost. Up and out of here. John Heinze from New York, has got a rocket called Joyful Noise. It moves the open and make what it should on a J415 with altimeter deployment, super apogee, main at 600 feet.
Pad 55, J275. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Nice burn. Coming over the top.
Did you get that one,
In the
Earl?
haze and back out of the haze. I see smoke. Okay, we got John at 56. He's going to be flying us on a Cosden K700. This is a demo flight from Cosden K700 at 56. I want heads up on this flight. Everybody, I want your eyes on pad 56. Here we go. Good luck, John. Sky's clear, range is clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Good boost. That was hanging in the haze. Pad 57, we got Mark Rogers from Winchester, Indiana, with his 5 bust. It's a 20-pound rocket. He's going to be flying us on, holy smokes, 5 H-180s. This is a heads-up flight. On pad 57, all eyes on pad 57. He's flying us on 5 H-180s. Here we go. Sky is clear, range is clear. Pad 57, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Looks like they all went. Nice inferno behind it. Looks like we got a parachute cooked. It's wrapped up. Heads up downrange. No, there's no second deployment. Pad 41's a no-go. On pad 42, we have Doug Meany from Minneapolis, Wisconsin, with his SLV-1. His 11-pound rocket is going to be lifted up on a H-123 long delay. That must be 1.1 mode. There we go on pad 42. Sky is clear, range is clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Ooh, looks like you lost a fin. We got Craig Lemaster on pad 43 from Fort Wayne, Indiana, with his Javelin scratch-built rocket. He's going to be flying us on a J415. Nice motor in this rocket. Excellent. Here we go. On pad 43, sky is clear, range is clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Excellent boost. It's a Sunseeker. I think he's calling this the traveling camera. Can't quite reach it right. Sorry, John. It's a 5-pound rocket, scratch built. He's flying us on a J280 Cosden. J280 Cosden. Pad 44. Heads up. Pad 44. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, is that a trip or is that a pin to pull? Nothing's on the. It's got a beeper and a camera in here. Yeah, it burned away. Pad 45. We have John Lindendock. Sorry. From Lingo. Okay, thank you. From Portland, Oregon. He's got his night smoke. Weighs approximately 4 pounds. Custom built. He's going to fly us on a J350 with a 10-second delay. Here we go, on pad 45, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Go, go, go. Hey, this is Chris Fechterly from, Olathe, is that Colorado? CO, okay. Here we go, the rocket name is IROC, it's a lock precision kit. And he's inserting on a I-300. Good luck there, Chris. Insert level 1 on pad 48. Here we go. Sky's clear, range is clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Okay. We have Jeff and everything's together. Congratulations there, Chris. Okay, John B is going to watch pad 55, level 1 for John Chambers. He's from Independence, Missouri. With his aerial female. Here we go. Pad 55, flying at H123. Sky's clear, range is clear. Good luck, John. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Nice boost, John. Coming over the top. Now we need that pretty shoot. He's got his interceptor, North Coast Kit, pad 57. He's going to fly this in a G64 with a long delay, pad 57. Sky's clear, range is clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Here we go with pad 41. We got Aaron Edwards from St. Louis, Missouri. He's got a caliber ISP, approximately 4¼ pounds, with lock precision kit. He's going to fly us on an I-300 medium delay. Here we go. Pad 41. Sky's clear, range is clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Caliber ISP, flight us on an I-300. Here we go. Sky's clear, range is clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Coming around. And we have deployment. Nice flight there, Darren. He's going to fly us on a K-185. All eyes on this rocket. Here we go. Sky's clear, range is clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. It's cooking. Straight up.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful boost. Okay, pad 43 has Darwin Gifke, I believe you pronounce it, from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He's got his shamanics, he calls it. Lock precision kit on pad 43, flight us on a G33. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Deployment and a shoot. Nice flight, Darwin. Darren's.
Jeremiah!
Pad 44 with Brad Gifke from Superior, I believe that says, Colorado. Name of the rocket is the Wahoo. It's a Rocketman Kit. He's going to be flying us on a I-154 Blackjack 10-second delay. Pad 44. Here we go. Good luck. Pad 44. Sky's clear. Range is clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch.
I'm next. I couldn't see it on the pads. I was like,
Over the
oh, he's
top.
not out there yet. What's taking him so long?
Coming down. Right about now would be sweet. Here we go. All right.
Got it, Brad? Yeah.
Pad 45, Russ Klingsik from Derby, Kansas. He's got a Stellantis Mark II again. Scratch-built rocket, flight us on a H-128, pad 45. Sky's clear, range is clear. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. No go on pad 45.
I need to put some sunglasses on.
Pad 46, we have Darren Raymond from Paris, Michigan. The name of his rocket is the Second Wind. Scratch-built rocket. He's going to be flying us on 1 Cosden I-500. All eyes on pad 46, Cosden I-500. Sky is clear, range is clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
Did you see that one?
Yep. That was awesome. That was awesome. That was a neck breaker.
Come on. There we go. And we got to shoot. Nice flight there. Pad 47, we have Dennis Floyd. He's got a TGIF, Lock Precision Kit. He's flying us on a, this don't look right. Oh, it's a J90. Okay, like an F90. Thank God it flies. Here we go on pad 47 with a J90. Sky's clear, range is clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Pad 33, we got Mark from Westside, Iowa, with his RB Express. He's got a Rocketman manufactured rocket, flying us on a I-234. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Nice boost. This is going to look pretty. I can see this one. We have ejection and a shoot. Nice flight. Okay, on pad 55, we're going to launch you again. Carrier Sandhog. Stretch wheel going. Oh, stage timer. Altimeter deploy. More goodies I missed. Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. That's pretty. Boosters on the chute. Ticking on a stick. No. Heads up, heads up. We have no chute on that booster. And it's right on the table. Heading north. Heads up, you guys. Heads up, heads up, heads up. Pin. Alrighty. Alrighty. I never heard of tarp recovery before. And you're a lucky boy. Okay, pad 56. Brad Getty, Superior, Colorado. Flying his Little Nipper stretch built on H-128. It is going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. H-128. Arcing over, see smoke. Coming in, down there's a sheet. Alrighty.
Pad 32, we have Stan, Rio Rancho, New Mexico, flying a Thoy Phoenix on an I-300. And it's going to go real fast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Oh dear. And it keeps going and going. And thinking about, okay, we have separation, we have shoot. Okay, Stan, good flight.
Nice flight,
Nathan Smith on pad 33, west Des Moines, Iowa. Rocketman, he's got a little smiley face on it. So I'm assuming the name of it is Smiley Face. LOC Kit on I-161, going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bye-bye. Nice and straight, going the direction we want them to go, arcing over, we have separation, we have shoot. Flight, Nathan. Pad 34, Dennis Winningstad from Portland, Oregon, flying his Super Thug, manufactured custom, and he's going to hurt it on a J570, and it's going in 5, oh, I'm scared, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Whoa. Jesus, man.
Okay, Steve White's Bombus, way out there, past the rider trucks on an N2000, and it is going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Whoa. Still going. Sounds like an F-15, doesn't it? I'm feeling ignition breeze. Ted Cochran from Minneapolis, Minnesota. NCR Eliminator on a F-62, and it is going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Alrighty. F-62, and we're waiting for that single slot homemade chute to pop out. Arcing over. Okay, homemade chute do good.
Okay, pad 55. Larry Cooper, Amarillo, Texas. He's a secretary at Hot Ross. Big picture over there. Rocketman Iris, miner design on an H-180 going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, nice fly there.
Beautiful tarantula. Give us your name and where you're from.
Sean Ashbaugh from Edwardsburg, Michigan. It's got an M1939 in it, and I'm hoping for about 3 miles.
And the weight of the rocket?
It's 50 pounds.
50 pounds. And what motor are you flying it on?
M1939.
Oh, M1939.
Yep.
The paint job is absolutely beautiful. Is that automotive type paint?
Yeah. Well, Kevin's Body Shop there painted this one for me also, and he's been painting them for me for about 5 years and does a good job on them.
It's hard to beat that. And what do you have for electronics?
The Cambridge accelerometer.
And what do you use for recovery?
Your R-14 Rocketman parachute.
All right. Well, this is your level 3 flight then?
No, just another high flight.
Must love rocketry. If you got to hold it on a wagon, you know it's a big rocket. Boy, you did a beautiful job on this Rocketman Rocketboy Kit.
Okay.
Your name, where are you from?
Roy Stevens from Des Moines, Iowa, along with Eyesore.
You did a lot of filling and sanding, I see,
Yeah,
too.
did that.
Beautiful paint job. What are we flying it on?
I'm going to try to take it up on an I-211 to start with, and then maybe a J350.
And what was the final weight then?
It weighed almost 7 pounds.
And is that automotive type paint then, too? Or?
Yes, that was automotive. It was automotive paint that Lanny Cross baked on for me.
The hole to retain the rocket motor in, who made that for you?
Lanny Cross did. We put a extra piece of metal there in the base to help solidify the motor retainer.
Boy, that's a beautiful touch.
That motor retainer is one of his own little inventions there, and we've flown them around with the club, and they work real well.
I got to replenish my dog's food here. My dog ate
Interesting flag. What's the story behind it?
Story behind it, Kai, is this is an old historic Tripoli flag from 1968, from obviously the pre-national days. This is in the possession of Francis Graham, who loaned it to me to bring to LDRS. It was made by former member Eric Haver from Green Tree, Pennsylvania. His mother made it, handmade the flag, and it's been displayed off and on at Tripoli functions for a number of years. And it's still on kind of the original flagpole jerry-rigged setup that Francis had it on for many years. But it's a treasured piece of memorabilia, and we'll try to hang on to it for a long time.
Very interesting. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, Denver, on pad 21, Little Rock, Arkansas, flying his small endeavor on a female kit on F-62, and going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Arctic over, small endeavor. Okay, we have a G.
that ice is cold.
He is going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Alright. Starting over. And we have a shoot.
A lot of tips over there. I was walking by with the price tag on the cheapest one I saw was $47.
Oh, that's cheaper than I thought.
There it goes. The naked sailor is on a shoot. 57, Dave left there from Mesa City, Iowa. Flight instructor Aerotech Jr. on an H-112 going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. We almost got you, didn't we? Where's the shoot on that last one? Had a shoot. 10:58. Casey Caldwell from Phoenix, Arizona. Should be flying to Phoenix, huh? Flying a Soviet's head on an H-180, and it is going. It is going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Alrighty. Good fly. Straight up. Arcing over into the wind. We have a deployment of sorts. And we are to shoot. Eric Williams on 1042. Pascagoula, Mississippi. On Nike Smoke, currently Highway 61. And it is going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Dale Bonker. Dale Bonker. He did. He was successful. Yeah. The fire starter I brought back in last it opened. It tested good. Hooked it up. Fire. It's arcing over.
It's gone.
Don't fire now.
It's gone. Bye.
Hope they got all tenders, yeah.
Yep.
I should bring him back. It looked like the igniter burned, didn't it?
Yeah.
Always good.
No shoot, but it's still smoking.
I don't see it.
Well, we have two sisters that are in high-power rocketry here, huh? And which one of you two is the oldest?
I am.
By how much?
12 minutes.
12 minutes. Oh, boy, you got bragging rights, huh?
Yep.
And how's it that you have a smaller rocket than she does?
I like the small rocket.
Oh, that's why. And you've, tell us about this rocket right here. What is it?
It's PAL, it's scratch built. Flying on H-123 today, but after landing, it processed us. It took about a month and a half just to build.
Well, you did a great job, that's for sure. Well, so we're twins.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
You got to be the first twins in high power rocketry that I know of. I don't know of anybody else. And your level, what level are you?
We're not old enough.
Well, you're not old enough to even be, oh my gosh.
But Dad does it.
Your dad, I know it. He does a good job too. Okay, well, we'll watch your flight. Keep up the good work. You should be at least level 3 in my opinion.
Thanks.
Well, we gotta have you over here. Haley.
The Haley can switch.
No, Haley and Ashley land.
And we have another member of this team here. Boy, I'll tell you, these are gorgeous rockets. Absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
And your name and where are you from?
Lanny Cross from West Des Moines, Iowa.
I've seen some of your work before. Just beautiful work. Tell us a little bit about this rocket.
Well, thank you. This will be my level 3 rocket. I'm going to fly it on an M1419. It's just under 11 feet tall. 7.5 inch diameter. Weighs about 53 pounds on the pad. Got dual deployment in it. Got an ALTS 25 and a Missile Works altimeter. Main deployment, or drogue deployment at apogee, main deployment at about 1,000 feet. If everything works right. Getting about ready to take it out and launch it.
And what was the final weight on it?
About 53 pounds on the pad.
That's a big rocket. Any idea how many hours you have in it?
A lot.
A lot.
3 months.
It's a labor of love.
Well, I started it right after LDRS last year.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yes.
So you've given it a lot of thought also.
Yeah. Has kind of a unique altimeter setup. It'll blow the main parachute out of the payload section, out of the bottom of the payload section. And if everything works right, we'll have 2 drogues and 1 big main chute, all open.
All at once. Okay, good luck. We'll watch for the flight. Beautiful rocket.
Thank you, Ky.
Okay, we have some.
And explain what
ejection, appears to be. Drogue shoots out, we do have dual deployment on that. Looks like everything's still together. Looks like you're going to get an opportunity to spend lots.
So, what's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Mark Eulenkamp from Westside, Iowa.
And what's the story about this rocket? All kinds of autographs. It looks like a lot of participation or
my
something.
son had a lot of his friends sign this rocket quite a while ago from his class. And we decided today to put it up on an I-284 and go for the 5,000-foot challenge.
And how high did it go?
We got 4,754 feet out of it.
Wow, that's knocking on the door.
Oh, we're challenging anybody to try to beat that. That's only a 246-foot window.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, when he brings it back and tells his buddies how high it went, they're really going to be excited.
Oh, you bet. They're going to have a hard time believing it, but it was an awesome flight. It came back in one piece, so.
Great. Well, keep up the good work. Keep working with those kids.
You bet. Thanks a lot.
Scratch built rocket on a case. 700 FG drug streamer, and then the 750-foot main. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. That dog's trying to hunt. Okay, we got parts coming in. It's up on this booster section. It's hot coming in. It's up in the RSO area. It's up in the RSO. Right here, right here. Don't move till you need to. Another piece coming in. Dose cone over there. It's up out here. All these people wandering over doing the vulture thing. Come on. Heads up. Keep your eyes up. Ready to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and launch. Nice straight boost. Eject with deployment. And we got fire. Hold on. Okay, the report on that full court 3-point shot into the trailer is that no damage done to the trailer. It actually fell with about a 5-foot diameter hole, so 3 points. All right, gonna cycle back. Pad 37, Randy Gray, Marshalltown, Iowa. Scratch build, catch it, bust, rocking an Iowa. 5, 4. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and launch. Argonia north end. Building speed is up on the north end. It's up on the north end. It's gonna, there we go. Pad 54. JD Levasseur, Lakewood, Colorado, Warthog. I-195, 2-stage deployment. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and launch. Okay, everybody keep your eyes on that rocket. Jim Amos, Daryl Mobley, need you to watch this next flight. It's a level 1 surge heads up. He needs to be able to spend more money. Todd Williams from Inglewood, Colorado, the Cobra on an I-357. It's 2-stage motor delay back. 2-stage motor delay back up 500 feet for the main. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for cert. Bye. Don't get that one. Ta-da! You're certed. Competition closest to the pad. North end, keep your eyes up on this. Got their own pad 60s. Man. Closest to the pad. Competition. Max Baines, Left Bridge, I believe. Super 7. Scratch built rocket. 6 Estes, D11s, 1 H97. Ought to be fun in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and launch. Okay, heads up on the northwest.
Light. That's all right.
And deployment.
Harley, a real unique looking rocket. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, this is the upscaled Estes Raman. It's a 3x upscaled, so it's 3 times larger than the actual Estes Kit. It's flying on a J350. It has a 2.14 body diameter and 3-inch body diameter at the top bottom. It'll be flying, have 2
Rocketman parachutes. It has two R7 Rocketman parachutes. Should take it down pretty softly and everything. The decals were all done on Corel Draw, and then I got vinyl lettering and stuff and painted it and everything. And it's 10 foot 8 inches long, so it's pretty long.
A lot of work. You did a nice job.
Oh yeah, I worked hard onto it. A couple years. Put in.
The whole club!
Marking over. Ejection. Simulate this. Modified kit on the J350 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and launch. Marking over. Evanston, Illinois. What? On the J800 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and launch. Nice. Got one coming in here in the north area. Okay, heads up at the north end. Nap 7 and Myra, Racine, Wisconsin. The Vector Tactical Aerotech Ky 50 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and party. Nice, great boost.
Candy, very unique looking rocket. And look at that getup. This is not Halloween. It's just that the fact that this is a witch rocket, right?
Right!
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the rocket.
Well, it's a scratch built. It weighs 23 pounds. It's
Flying on it. What is it flying on?
a J570.
J570, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, those are neat graphics. Great
Oh,
idea.
yeah. They're from Corel Draw.
Pretty cool looking,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yep. It's a level 2 certification.
Oh, so you're getting up to level 2 already, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's a zoom broom, which I call it Witch Candy.
Witch Candy.
Yeah.
rocket. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's a 4 times upscale of an Estes Nike X. It was made back in the 1970s. It's about 24 pounds. It weighs... has a Rocketman R14C as the main chute, and we're going to fly today on a K560.
Beautiful. That's just an absolute gorgeous rocket. That one, I'll tell you, I'd fly it once and then I'd hang on the wall.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
It's way too beautiful.
So hopefully we get it back nice in one piece.
Great. Well, good luck.
Okay, thanks. Up to the tables.
I can knock the battery tank out.
Lean and mean. This looks like this rock is built for a high altitude, huh?
Yes, sir. 24,000 feet expected.
Oh, really?
L3000, 1.1 second burn. Should hit Mach 1 at about 300 feet, Mach 2 at about 1,400 feet or so.
Yeah, and you want me to try to video it? Well,
yes, sir.
I know it's going to be a
keep up with
blur.
it?
I'll miss it. I'll have to put Jody on that one. She can get the quick. Sometimes she can get the quick ones, but you got really a great looking paint job, a candy apple paint
it's
job.
It's a prism. It's from DuPont.
Oh, it's a DuPont paint, huh?
Yeah, it's called Prism. Pretty neat
Boy,
stuff.
that's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, good luck. We'll try to catch that flight if we can. What your name and where you from?
Oh, Derek DeVille from Miami, Florida.
Very good. Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Yes?
56.
Okay, well, hang on a minute. We may be lucky, Chuck.
Got it. My truck. Marking over and deployment. All right. We're fine.
1939. Altitude's probably going to be about 3,000 feet. Rocketman recovery, of course. There's a 35mm camera. Should get about 36 good aerial shots from it.
And what's the weight of the rocket?
Pardon?
What is the weight of the rocket?
129 pounds.
Wow. And how long did it take to build it?
A year.
A year. You gave it a lot of thought before you started?
I built one last year. I had a smaller version of it, the full-scale version, which was actually a 7.5 booster down to a 4-inch tube and then back up to a 6-inch. I flew it on an M1419 to 6,000 feet. Originally, we were supposed to fly it on an N2000 motor, but due to the length of the motor, the length of the shock cord, and the parachute, kind of ran out of room, so we had to reduce it a little bit. Has a couple of depth altimeters, the Alts 25s, and an Olsen M2 data recorder. And hopefully, it all goes well.
All right. Well, I tell you what, it's a really unique looking rocket, and you did a very nice job. You be proud of that. Thank you.
It was finished a couple nights ago.
Oh, all right. Thanks. Gee, Mark, you look like you got a real guided missile. Tell us about this rocket.
Well, this is a almost a full-scale AMRAAM from Smoking Rockets. It's 7.5-inch diameter. Flew it yesterday, which was Saturday, on an M1939, and it went to 7,200 feet. It weighed 80 pounds loaded, and I almost did it. I was 6 inches away from my level 3 certification, but I had a 6-inch zipper.
Oh my gosh.
Other than that, it was an awesome flight, though.
Well, you did a nice job on the rocket, that's for sure.
Well, thanks a lot.
Well, what's the weight of it?
It was 80 pounds loaded, 60 empty, 60 pounds dry.
It's one bad-looking rocket. That's a pretty cool piece. Nice job.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate your attention. At the minute 56 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
KC0 CYM, KC0 CYL. T-minus 2 minutes counting. I have it right here in my hand. It's an M2400 and weighs 42 pounds. Scratch built, black brand. What else we got on here? Drogless apogee, main at 1200.
Interesting to see how it warped its way back.
Bill and Billy Davidson, T-minus 1 minute, 30 seconds. Bill and Billy Davidson, T-minus 1 minute, 20 seconds.
It's an M2400 blue motor and a half-scale black brand. What kind of time we got?
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
2 weeks.
Are you getting this?
First official homemade motor? No. Don't be modest, Bill.
T-minus 40 seconds.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
Shit, it worked. 42 pounds.
Baby, baby, baby.
42, what? Bill?
Woo! That was a good time.
Most excellent shot. Most excellent
That was a good time.
Now?
I lost it.
I got it. Ain't
Mark's
doing much.
coming over. Coming down.
Hey,
part?
No, it's coming down hot. Real hot. Real hot. Real hot.
Yeah, it's hot. It's coming in.
Oh!
Strip that chute.
That'll work.
second injection motor.
Oh, is that your motor?
Oh, it's Bill's motor.
Oh, okay.
I just helped him on it. I didn't build it, he built it.
Oh, that was great.
I'm watching the shoot.
That's a pretty shoot.
Watching the shoot.
That's something that's going up, ain't it?
Dang it. Well, it'll be easier to take home.
I had the same
Yeah,
thing.
you
The motor worked.
You can bring home your
motor
lunchbox.
You did a damn good job machining that.
it worked.
You did a damn good job making that.
Oh, and you machined it yourself to yourself? Great.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Nice job.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
What's going on?
Looks appears as if the nose cone chute worked and the body tube is flat spinning down. Still quite a ways up, but halfway down. Oh, it's supposed to be an altimeter to deploy another chute. We'll see. Oh, this will be good.
So,
What's the altimeter set at?
1200.
1200?
Okay, come on, Cannon. There it goes.
Yeah!
That's a Nomex. That's good. That's good. That's a Nomex. Okay.
I never brought one that heavy back without a drogue.
That was cool. Drogeless.
Congratulations. That was a really nice flight there,
Okay.
Jim.
Appreciate
Nice
it.
job.
Appreciate it.
Well, what's the motor in that, by the way?
06,000.
06,000. What was the expected altitude?
Probably 26 to 7,000.
The motor's got a different sound, I'll tell you that. That's a nice piece.
High
Good work.
horsepower.
Good work.
Hi, I'm Ky Michaelson. I've had a number of people ask me about what it was like to work on October Sky. And as it turned out, I was lucky enough to end up with a number of the models that we had used in the production. And this here is the original Miss Riley. This is the one that was sitting on the pad that you saw that looked so nice and beautiful. Well, it's pretty tough looking right now. We built 13 of these rockets for the production. And the best of my knowledge, maybe there's 3 or so around, and I still have 2 of them. But you know, we did the handwriting on it, so it made it look like it was done by a youngster, not in a professional way. And we built the rocket a little bit crudely, just because of you know, being built back in the 50s, and it was built by some young guys that really didn't pay a lot of attention to details. The original rockets that we built for October Sky were, the nozzles themselves were made out of a fiberglass. As you can see, they're pretty crude. You know, they're pretty crude looking. The nose cone itself, we made that out of, we spun those, they're made out of a hardwood, a birch wood. And the airframe itself, that's just made out of regular phenolic tubing. And the fins themselves are made out of just regular G10 fiberglass. Most of the flights were done on H and I motors. And you've seen some of the flights that went array. And the way that we did that, we either guided the rockets on some wires, or we also drilled some holes in the cases, and that's how we ended up getting the CATOs. We've seen the rockets spinning around. In the first part of the October Sky, if you remember right, the boys made their first rocket. It was out of a flashlight and a model that they put together. And then they took some black powder anyways, proceeded to make their first rocket. But as you remember, the fence blew up, and this was sitting on top of it. But if you look real closely, actually they blew the fence up, but the rocket was not sent up. They actually did a cut. But this is the original rocket that I was lucky enough to get off from the set. I'll prize this possession for a long time. When I decided to build the Rocketman Rocketboy Kit, we decided to make the nozzles out of aluminum. So we went to the expense of actually spinning these nozzles out of aluminum. And what we did, we took like an 8-inch piece of aluminum, 125 thousandths thickness, and it was just a plate, round plate, and we spun it over a mandrel. And that's how we ended up with the nozzles that we're using on our kit. This here is my Rocketman Rocketboy Kit. It's a 4-inch kit. It's 84 inches long. It's made out of phenolic tubing. Again, we're using the G10 fiberglass, and it comes with an aluminum nozzle and a Rocketman recovery. Next up, we have one of my favorite rockets. It's called the Mach Fever. Again, it's made out of phenolic tubing, G10 fiberglass fins, and it flies on a 38mm motor. If you want some high flying action, this rocket here will give it to you. Praying Mantis says it all. Praying Mantis is one mean bug. I'll tell you what, this is one mean rocket. Flies on a 54mm, 4-inch. Comes with a Rocketman recovery system, G10 fiberglass fins, great graphics. It's an awesome rocket. Wahoo! That's it. It's a 38mm short rocket. It's a nice starting rocket. This was one of the first kits we made. It's one of our most popular kits. We sell quite a few of these. So again, it's phenolic tubing, G10 fiberglass fins, Rocketman recovery. It's a fun rocket, and it's a great looking rocket. When it flies, just remember, say, wahoo! The Skyhawk, 6-inch rocket. I decided to do like a 1950 type styling of the fins. By me, no means it's no pig, I'll tell you what. You can put a large 54mm motor in this thing. It's fairly lightweight, has a fiberglass boat tail on it, nose cone, made out of phenolic tubing, G10 fiberglass fins. It's a great looking rocket. Thunder Chicken. I was driving my truck down the freeway and they were telling a joke about a chicken, and then it hit me. I gotta build a rocket named Thunder Chicken. So again, we made the fins a little bit like a chicken, made out of G10 fiberglass. It's 29mm. Comes with a Rocketman recovery system, also has a payload section. It's a neat rocket, and it's relatively inexpensive. And speaking of fun rockets, the Lunatic. Again, a small rocket, 29mm, G10 fiberglass fins, phenolic tubing, Rocketman recovery. I think this is the least expensive rocket that we have. Definitely, it's a good starter rocket if you just want to go out and have some fun. Firefly, real small, lightweight rocket, 38mm. You want to touch the sky, touch the stars, this is the rocket to fly. It's definitely a high altitude rocket. This is our Space Hawk. Great looking lines, 38mm, lots of power, lightweight, G10 fiberglass fins, phenolic tubing, and Rocketman recovery. This is a great rocket. Great looking, fun to fly. As most of you know, we build the Big Kahuna. It's the largest production high-power rocket kit that you can buy, but it's also rather spendy. So it's just under $1,000. So we decided to come out with the Little Kahuna, and I'll tell you, this baby does rock. Comes with a 38mm motor mount, again, G10 fiberglass fins, phenolic tubing, and a Rocketman recovery chute. This is our Rocketman two-stage rocket we call Showtime. If you're looking for a little bit more complicated flight, try a two-stage. This is a 38mm to a 29mm. Again, we're using phenolic tubing, G10 fiberglass fins, comes with a couple Rocketman chutes. This is a high-flying bird. I would like to take this time to thank each and every one of you for all the support that you've given Jody and I and Rocketman Enterprise. I really enjoy producing these high-thrust videotapes. I try to make them informative, interesting, and exciting. This segment of this video is dedicated to Team Redstone, the world's largest scale high-power rocket.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
I want to again express my congratulations to Alan Shepard. We're very proud of him And I speak on behalf of the Vice President, who is Chairman of our Space Council and who bears great responsibilities in this field, the members of the House and Senate Space Committee who are with us today, and this decoration, which is going from the ground up here.
And boy, that sure brings back memories of when I was 9 years old and the whole family was around the TV and we were waiting for Alan Shepard to go up. It just seemed like it never would, but he finally did, and it was really a tremendous, exciting moment for everybody to see that rocket leave the pad and fly. So that was not my oldest memory. I remember Sputnik, but Mercury was certainly one of the highlights of my childhood to see that go up. So we were thinking last year at Balls that we wanted to do something special. And we thought I wanted to do something that would take a P motor and something that would be big, at least 30 feet tall. And I was thinking, you know, Redstone was a pretty neat rocket when I was a kid. And Alan Shepard went up. He was one of my heroes. And I thought, let's take some look and see what it takes to build a Mercury or Redstone rocket. And it just turns out the 1/3 scale Mercury Redstone is 30 feet tall and it's big enough to have to take a P motor. So that's where it all got started. We were sitting around here waiting for the next rocket to launch and decided to build a Redstone. And I went back to Omaha and we talked about it there. I wanted to see if there was going to be other people to help me out with this. And I know Ky was in. And Johnny was in, and the guys went crazy. He said, Redstone, yeah, we want to build a Redstone too. So we said, okay, we'll start figuring out what we're going to do. How are we going to build it? Well, we're going to get a tube 2 feet in diameter, and how are we going to hold it together? So some other people went out, found out a sonotube. Sonotubes come in 24-inch diameter, but they're all cardboard. So what are you going to do with a cardboard tube 2 foot in diameter that's wax coated besides? So we said, well, we have to fiberglass that tube to make it strong enough, and then it would work. And then we'd have to build couplers, and we'd have to build a nose cone and a bunch of special fins. And it seemed pretty straightforward because the Mercury Redstone is a straight body tube, no transitions. And the fins seemed pretty straightforward, so we thought at the time. And we started designing this thing. And then the fins go underneath the rocket, so that presented a challenge. And the coupler system presented a challenge. How do you couple a rocket that's 24 inches in diameter together so it'll eject and separate? And then how much is this going to weigh? So we started factoring some of these things out and made some assumptions and just kept going. The guys in Lincoln, since we had people in Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Colorado, we had to figure out how we're going to break this thing up. So the guys in Lincoln, Nebraska said, we'll take tubes home and we'll fiberglass. So we went out, we got the tubes. We ordered fiberglass from Fiberglass. By the gallon, we got I don't know, about 20 yards of fiberglass cloth, a couple of gallons of 60-minute epoxy. All right, down in Lincoln, they're going to build the tubes with fiberglassing. So they had to come up with a way to put fiberglass on 2 foot diameter tubes that are 10 feet long each. That was a real challenge. So we knew we needed centering rings. So we made all the centering rings, but we didn't drill the centers out. So we could put them inside the tubes to put it on a form to spin them to put the fiberglass on. And they came up with a barbecue motor to actually turn the tubes to put the fiberglass on. So they got the barbecue grill motor and like a spit holding the tube up with the centering rings in it, slowly turning it. They put all the fiberglass, put the epoxy down, layer of fiberglass on top of that, and kept spinning it, and then they put another layer of fiberglass on it. Just all the time spinning on this barbecue turner. And the tubes turned out really nice, really nice. But we still had to fill them. They it was fiberglass, and you can only make them so smooth. So we brought them back to Omaha, and that's where the guys in Omaha took over. And we used up about 10 tubs of this Borden's wood filler to smooth the tubes out. Took 10 tubs of that stuff and sanding for about 2 months to get those things perfect. But they turned out perfect. We got that done. So that was pretty much the tubes. The next big challenge was making the fins, and that would turn out to be more of a challenge than we thought. Now, we knew that the rocket was going to be rather heavy. We were thinking 400 pounds. It turned out to be 600 pounds when we got done. But the rocket tubes were, well, the rocket was 600 pounds, and we were afraid that the rocket had to land on the fins, because the fins hung down below the rocket, so we needed to make the fins strong enough for it to land on. So we decided on 3/4 inch plywood that we'd build up with insulation foam and then fiberglass the top, and that should work. So we got the plywood, we cut out the fins, we had them set up to go all the way to the center, right down the motor. Well, the other problem was because the fins came underneath the bottom of the rocket, we had to set up a deal where we had to make the fins removable. So the fins had to be set up so you could put the fin in and take it off. That means we had to bolt the fins in. So we had to make up a special motor mount assembly that we could bolt the fins into. And also to center the rocket motor, because it was 6 foot 3 inches long and 6 inches in diameter. And there's no motor tubes big enough to hold something like that. So we came up with this contraption to hold the fins on and to hold the motor in place. And then I was talking with Johnny Johnson, the motor maker, and he goes, you know, these motors burn hotter than Aerotech motors. They burn about 5,500 degrees. So then we decided, oh, well, we have to make a metal plate to go on the back of the rocket so it won't burn the bottom off when we fly it. So we made the plate up to go on the bottom. And so, well, they had to integrate the fins and the motor mount and this, and then we had to slot the tubes, and it was a pretty big, all this stuff sounds simple. The fins we thought would be easy. Just cut some plywood and put some foam on and fiberglass it. Well, smoothing them out and shaping them and all that turned out to be quite a chore. And we spent probably from December, actually till we started painting, working on the fins. Every time we got together, we worked on the fins. And basically at the beginning, we got the motor tubes, or the body tubes, in October, is actually when we started the project. And we started working on the fins in December, and we were doing every meeting every month. And then after a couple months, we realized it was going to take more work, so we started meeting every other week. And then about March, we decided that it was going to take longer still, so we started working every single Saturday that we could until LDRS to finish the project up. And it worked out good because we finished 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Well, 2 weeks ahead of LDRS, which I really wanted to do anyway, because you don't want to be trying to build your rocket at the last minute. So we got the fins finally done, finished off, smoothed up. We got the motor mount assembly built. Well, then the coupler was another problem. How are we going to get the coupler? Because we had a piece of cardboard that fit inside the tube, the sonotube, and we found there were sonotubes that were just slightly smaller than the 24-inch sonotube that would fit in the inside we could make coupler out of. But the tube by itself wasn't going to be strong enough, so we had to build an internal structure inside of that to keep the coupler from crushing. So we had to custom make an assembly for that. And then you can't just sit a 10-foot long, 2-foot diameter tube inside of another 10-foot long tube with a standard simplest coupler. We had to have more. So we built a piston in the center of the coupler that also would aim it and keep it straight and have enough strength so that it wouldn't break off when we put the rocket together, because the rocket motor was going to generate 3,200 pounds of thrust. And Johnny was telling me, he goes, you have to think about that in terms of strong enough to support a Volkswagen. So we're thinking, yeah, strong enough to support a Volkswagen, that means a big plate. So we had a pretty big bulk plate that the motor set up against. And that's what made us think about the coupler having to be really strong, because the coupler had to support the upper section of the tube plus another 10 feet of capsule and escape tower on top of that. So it was 10 foot, a coupler, and then 20 feet above it, so it had to be very strong. And we came up with this piston coupler combination that would sit on top of the booster section. Then we had to build the, how are we going to get the parachutes? What are we going to do about parachutes? How many parachutes is it going to take to fly this thing back? So, of course, we talked to the expert, Ky Michaelson. Ky says, you know, we're going to need a lot of parachutes. You're going to need 16-foot parachutes. You're going to need 5 of them. 3 for the booster, 2 for the payload section. And so Ky decided to come up with a new parachute, the R19, which is basically a 16-foot plus parachute. That was a super chute that he made, 5 of them for the bottom section. So that was 5 16-foot parachutes, 3 in the booster section, 3 in the payload section, or 2 in the payload section. So that was pretty much it. But then we had, you can't, like a regular rocket, you just can't blow the payload section off and have it pull out the parachutes. So we ended up making pistons or parachute cannons in the top of the booster section to actually blow the parachutes out of their bodies. So first we had to separate the payload section off and then blow the parachutes out of the booster section so we'd make sure they catch air. And all this led to, gee, how are we going to do all of this? Well, we turned to Jim Amos at Missile Works, and he's really good with electronics. And so we thought, well, can we use altimeter based? And we came up with the idea, and actually Jim said we should use remote control. And we will visually control all the stages of the flight. So we ended up using the Missile Works remote control transmitter receivers so we could blow the charges when we wanted to blow the charges. And we thought, we got to make this thing cool. We're going to make it just like the real Redstone flight. And a real Redstone flight, about 5 miles up, they fire off the escape tower. So we decided we'll fly off the escape tower too. Now, that was another trick and stuff. So we had a number of events that we had to have. So we ended up with an electronics section with 3 transmitter receivers, 2 channels each, to run the whole rocket, you might say. And what he came up with was a very nice integrated electronics section that we could fit into a 7.51 tube next to, well, let's see, actually, let's go back a step here. In the top of the booster section, we had 6 7.51 tubes, 5 of which we were using for parachute cannons, 1 of which we were going to use for electronics. And so what Jim Amos came up with was a 7.51 electronics payload that slid into a 7.51 tube, and all the wiring came off of that. And the neat thing about his stuff is he's using 900 megahertz channel switching receiver transmitters, so it didn't even require antennas. They're onboard circuit antennas, so we didn't have to worry about that. And we ran all the electronics from the center section. The trickiest part was going up in the escape tower. Now, the escape tower was a whole job in itself, and Ky in Minneapolis handmade that whole escape tower and capsule assembly. And as you see on the tape, it's just simply beautiful.
Here we have the whole Mercury spacecraft is all assembled. This here is made out of aluminum. We made all this out of aluminum, and this is a rubber to give the effects of the louver and the louvering and the heat shields. We made this out of wood, and this is made out of the sonotube, the 24-inch sonotube. I took a fiberglass nose cone and I cut that down and made the little nose cone up in here. All the rest of this is all fabricated out of aluminum that we heliarc together. We hand rolled the cones, which are used for we're actually going to put J motors in these nozzles here. The rocket up there is the upper stage there where we got the chutes. That's made out of aluminum, and the outside rings are made out of wood, which we fiberglass together. The whole weight, the total weight of the spacecraft is about 95 pounds without the chutes in it.
Now we had to wire up wires all the way to the top to the escape section motors, and we settled on 3 I-357 motors just to pull the escape tower off the top of the Redstone capsule. And what the sequence was going to be is we were going to fly the rocket up, and when it got close to apogee, we were going to fire off the escape tower, and then we were going to fire the charges to blow off the capsule and it had its own Rocketman parachute also. And then we had another button to separate the payload section and the booster section, and we had another button that would fire the parachute cannons, and then we had a backup button and a special setup to blow all the charges at once. So in case something went wrong, we could fire all the charges and be completely safe. We had triply redundant. The system was triply redundant, plus we had a timer as an additional backup that would also blow all the charges. Ky will tell you more about building the escape tower and the capsule, but it turned out just plain beautiful. And then he had a coupler too. Now the interesting thing about the project was we never actually saw it all assembled until we got to LDRS. Everything was done, everything was painted, but we never saw it put together. So we actually integrated everything at the end. We had the capsule had to fit in the payload section. The escape tower had to fit in the capsule. The electronics had to fit into its chamber. We never saw the motor till LDRS. That was driven out. So it was a very interesting day, Monday, experimental day, when we put the whole thing together. We had to put the motor in, and it was a little tight, so we had to make a few minor adjustments for that. We had to put the electronics in, and we had to integrate that and put a few screws to hold that together. Oh, and then the Discovery Channel was there, and they said, hey, how would you like to fly a couple of our cameras? And then that was a no-brainer. Sure, cut a hole inside the rocket? Yeah, we could do that. And so we put the Discovery Channel cameras in there also. And I mentioned to the guy, you know, what happens if it doesn't work? Well, don't worry about it, the camera's insured, so that was cool. Forgot about one other thing, was the painting. Painting was a whole chore in itself, because we had the booster section tube, which weighed 100 pounds. Then we had the payload section tube, which weighed 100 pounds. And how do you paint things like this? Well, we had a special rack made to hold the rocket when we were working on it. And Larry Drake came up with this neat thing with wheels on it, so we could put the tubes on the wheels and rotate it so we could paint it. And we used automotive paint. And Rob Skiba has got a custom auto-type painting system that we painted the rocket with, automotive paints. And we had to put the primer on and a couple of coats. And actually, it's pretty interesting because we were trying to paint this thing outside in front of his house in 20-mile-an-hour winds. And I tell you, that was a challenge, painting in 20-mile-an-hour winds. It's tough. But we got it on. We built a big windscreen that we could hold up in front, and it kind of caused the paint to swirl. But we got it on good, and it took a little bit more than we wanted, but the paint worked out good. And then we had to mask the whole thing off and paint the different colors, the black, and mask off the white, put the black on. And then we had custom-made lettering and hatches and screws and threads and seams. And if you see in the footage, it's very detailed work, and it took 2 days of 8 people just to put the detail work into that finish. A lot more than I ever expected, but it turned out simply beautiful. In fact, Rocketry Online called it museum quality finish, and it was ready to go into. We had talked with the Cosmosphere, and after it flew, they were interested in actually taking it and having it in the Cosmosphere to go on exhibit after it flew. So we got it all put together. That's right, just getting it there. I forgot about that, man. Everybody was taking parts. We had one guy took up the capsule and the escape tower, and we had to get Ky's tower. We had to have a special tower. How do you launch a 30-foot tall rocket? Well, that was another challenge. 30-foot tall rocket, you don't put it on a rod. So we came up with slides and a groove system, and Ky found that there's this railing stuff they use in warehouses to hang electric lights from. It's basically 1.5 inch by 3 inch channel that you put on the side. He put on the side of his 30-foot tower that he used to launch his world record attempt, or world record altitude rocket that he flew here at Balls a couple of years ago. And he attached a rail to the side. And then one of the guys, Lanny Cross, custom made out of brass, hand cut, a 3 guides that we put on the side of the rocket to slide this 30-foot tall rocket up a 30-foot tall tower. And then, of course, how do you put the thing on? So anyway, we're at LDRS, and we've got the thing on display, and we've got the rocket motor, and we've got all the parts, and it was pretty cool. And we'd polish it up and tell stories about it. And finally came the day of reckoning, which was experimental day, and we finally started putting things together. Everything together. Put the fins in, we put it back on the trailer, drove it up to the top of the hill. That actually took 3 trips. One trip to get the motor up, one to bring up the capsule escape tower, and then one to bring up the body tubes, booster, and payload section, put them up in the racks, and actually put the whole thing together. We started out by putting the fin rack and motor assembly up on a rack, and then put the fins on and slid it into the body tube, and that turned out to be real tough. The fins weighed about 40 pounds each. The motor rack and fin holder weighed about 80 pounds. The booster section weighed over 100. So it took quite a tour. It took about 14 people to get the fins and the motor assembly into the booster. We had to push and bang and shove, and we finally got it all in with the 4 fins on it. That was a real chore. In fact, it was in so tight that we actually didn't even attach the motor assembly and fin attachment stuff to the actual body tube. We didn't have to, it was in so tight. So we got that in, and we had the electronics armed and in the payload section, or in the top of the booster. And what the plan was put the booster section with the fins and the motor up on the tower first, and then lower down the payload section onto that. Well, sure enough, come to think about it, we go, gee, if we do that, and the tower had a crane, a small crane at the top that we could lift things up. But the booster section is so big, how are we going to lift the payload section up over the booster section to get it on? So it turned out we had to put the payload section up first, and that took everybody, and we had a couple come-alongs, plus the rope on the tower thing, the winch to pull it up, and that was a real challenge to get that up there. So the payload section is up on the tower, and then everybody else, after we got that up, we're holding it in place. We took all the biggest guys, and we got some big, strong guys in our group, and everybody else, it took probably 16, 17 people to lift the booster section up, hand carry it over, and stand it up onto and slide it onto the rail with a payload section way above it, so we get the whole thing together. We figured putting the rocket on the pad would probably take maybe an hour. Well, it took almost 3 hours to get the rocket on the tower, get the thing all together. So we had the payload section up, finally got the booster section on, lowered the payload section down all the way into the bottom of the top of the booster section. Then we realized that, oh, we got to arm the electronics. So we had to pull it back up again, reach in, arm the electronics. Well, the arming was on the outside. We had to connect the wires up, the final connections. Because I had the checklist, but I was at the top of the tower with a checklist, and it was kind of tough because I was holding the payload section up. So anyway, we pulled it back up, got everything connected up, dropped it back down, and then we had to raise up the capsule all the way to the top of the tower. And that was, the capsule tower assembly was about 100 pounds too. Well, so we got the capsule up, dropped it in, then lifted up the payload section, or the escape tower section, dropped that in, and finally, for the first time ever, we had a Mercury Redstone, completely assembled. And it was simply outstanding. It was awesome. When you stood back from that rocket, it looked like the real thing. It was a very emotional moment to see it all put together. And back 100 feet, it looked like the real Redstone on the pad. You know, and the icing on the cake of this whole project was Laura Shepard Churchley, the daughter of Alan Shepard, came to see the rocket we built in honor of her father fly. And that was really a big moment for everybody on the team. And I can't believe it. This thing is bringing back all these memories. It was, this project was, there was 28 people on the team. And we worked our hearts out. to make this thing the best project we could ever come up with. And it was, like I said, it was a museum quality rocket. It was beautiful. It was going to be awesome. And Laura Shepard came, and we got on the pad, and it was just beautiful. And so we went back, and we asked Laura Shepard, we go, Laura, do you want to push the button with us up at the pad, or do you want to stay back 3/4 of a mile at the flight line and watch from there? And there was no hesitation in her voice at all. I want to be there where you are to fly the rocket.
Well, you've been out here for a whole day now, and how'd you ever get conned into this in the first place to come out here?
Conned into? I think her name was Patty Carey of the Cosmosphere.
Oh, really? And she said there's a bunch of fun-loving guys out here going to launch a Redstone.
That's exactly right. In honor of my father, so I had to be here.
Yes. You know, and it's an awesome, I mean, this is a group of guys that got together, buddies, you know, and
it's amazing what they've accomplished out here.
See, we love the space program. We love what's happened out there, and the accomplishments that your father did, and what he did give to us, you know, the thrill. I'll never forget it. I was a young boy working in a bakery. I listened on the phone. So, I mean, I listened on the radio, and it was quite a thrill, and this is really a thrill for us.
No, it's a thrill for me also.
All right, and you get to push the button also.
Holy mackerel. It'll work, I'm sure.
Okay, very good. Thank you. This here is a copy of the original space mail that was flown May 5th, 1961 on the Mercury, and then it was flown by Alan Shepard. But anyways, this is the first mail. We're putting 200, it's copied of the original. We're putting 200 of these on board on this flight. Bruce, what are we doing here right now?
Okay, we're
making sure it's plugged in.
We're going to make sure that everything's ready to go, Ky.
First things first,
We're
you should catch his
probably
breath.
within a minute. Rob, how do we look? Do a continuity check.
The separation, we're ready to go, Bruce.
Okay. We're ready to, Rob, go ahead and give me a count when you're ready.
I need to get the camera. We're going to hold that too,
Once
right?
it hits to zero, you just push the button.
And who's going to push the button here?
Roger. Yeah, Laura,
Doesn't
Churchley,
matter
and
what
myself are going to push the button.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure his finger's down there first.
Yep. Okay, we're at 45 seconds to go.
Count it out loud.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
What happened?
Laura Shepard and I pushed the button together. The motor came to life. The rocket started to move, and then it went kaboom. And she got up and said, you know, I feel sorry for you guys. And I said, you know, it's kind of funny. It's not even funny. Everybody was kind of stunned, I think, at first. And I've seen rockets blow up on the pad, and it actually went up quite a bit. It went up the rod, and there was a lot of fire and smoke. But Laura felt bad for us that we had built this in honor of her dad, and it didn't work. But I told her that this is what happens when we fly experimental rockets, and no one's ever tried to build a model rocket this big before. This is the world's biggest model rocket. And when you try something like that, sometimes things don't work. In this case, the motor blew up, but I felt somewhat satisfied that we had got as far as we did and built this great project, and it actually did fly. Not the way we wanted to, but it was still successful. We put a lot of work, blood, sweat, and tears in the thing, and we all, of course, would wish that it had gone a lot higher, but we finished the project, it flew, and it was just unfortunate what happened, but we move on and we do something else next year, and there's always more and more awesome things to do, and we've got all the parts back, so we'll probably either build it again or do something with it, and it should be interesting.